New Terra was a peaceful colony. Blue skies stretched over green fields. Children laughed while running between white domes. Farmers grew clean food. Scientists studied the planet's air and water. It was the perfect example of humanities. Progress until the sky turned red. Commander Ryan stood on the main balcony of Colony Center, sipping tea. He was looking at the morning sun rising over the hills. His second-in-command, Alia, approached quickly, holding a tablet. Her face looked pale. "Sir," she said, voice shaking. "Something's entering orbit. Fast." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "Meteor?" She shook her head. "No, sir. Multiple heat signatures. Not natural." Suddenly, alarms rang out. A red alert flashed across every screen in the control room. The sky cracked open. Dozens of Varnic warships descended through the clouds. Their black, spiked hulls reflected the sunlight like teeth. They fired without warning. Lasers tore through communication towers. The main power core exploded. Within seconds, buildings collapsed and screams echoed through the colony. People ran in every direction, parents grabbing children, guards shouting orders, but it was already too late. The Varnic didn't come to threaten. They came to destroy. Ryan tried to contact Earth. "This is Commander Ryan of New Terra. Colony under attack by unknown alien fleet. We need immediate backup." Static. The transmission was jammed. Missiles struck the command dome. The glass above him shattered. Ryan and Alia ducked as fire rushed through the corridor. The floor split apart. Lights died. She coughed through the smoke. "Sir, they're targeting civilians." Ryan's voice turned cold. "This isn't war. This is extermination." In the residential sector, a little girl named Lyra held her toy dragon close. She looked up at her father as they ran. "Daddy, why are the stars falling?" He didn't answer. Back on Earth, 2 hours later, high in the mountains of Earth's northern defense sector, deep beneath the ground, a black room lit up. An old AI voice spoke calmly. "Protocol Emberclaw activated." Inside the dark facility, cryogenic vaults lined the walls. Each was sealed, marked with warning signs and biosafety codes. Behind one of the thick windows, something moved. A handler named Myra was called from retirement. She wore a simple jacket and still kept the small-scale necklace from the past, a memory of a creature once raised in secret. She stepped into the cold, glowing room and stood before the central vault. General Hale spoke behind her, voice flat. "The colony is gone. No survivors reported. Over 1,000 dead." They didn't ask questions, they just attacked. Mira stared at the cryopod. "And you want to answer with dragons?" He nodded. "It's time. Open it." She placed her hand on the scanner. A loud hiss echoed through the chamber. The glass lifted slowly. Inside was a massive creature, sleeping in layers of fog and wires. Black scales, silver horns, wings folded tightly. Its chest rose slowly. Ash wing, not the last of the first generation. As warm air flowed into the chamber, its golden eyes flickered open. It stared directly at Myra. She didn't move. Her voice was soft. "Do you remember me?" The dragon's pupils shifted. A low growl echoed in the room, but not from anger. It sounded like a question. Then, through the translator chip embedded in its skull, a deep voice spoke. "Revenge?" Final scene. Emergency broadcast log. The screen flickered. A short video recorded by a child just before the destruction played. In the Earth Council room. Smoke filled the background. Lights flashed behind broken windows. The camera shook. A small voice whispered, barely audible, "The sky is full of fire. Mommy said the dragons would protect us." The video cut out. In silence, the council turned to General Hall. He simply said, "Then let them fly." Asterisk. The mountains of Earth's northern defense zone were cold, silent, and deadly. Inside them was a facility that didn't officially exist. Its name was erased from all records. It was simply known as Vault-7. Myra walked through long metal corridors, her boots echoing with each step. She passed doors labeled Biohazard, Classified, and Dragon Breed Lineage. Behind each door were creatures not from myths, but from the darkest parts of Earth's history. Genetic monsters designed for war, bred in silence, and locked away when peace had arrived. Now that peace was over, she reached the main chamber, where 6 cryopods stood in a circle. Each pod held a dragon, different sizes, different colors, each more dangerous than the last. But her eyes were on only one. Ashwing. He was fully awake now, breathing slowly inside the reinforced glass. His black and silver scales shimmered under the vault's lights. Wires and data ports were still connected to his neural implants. A scientist nearby whispered, "He remembers everything, doesn't he?" Myra nodded. "Dragons don't forget." General Hall stepped forward. "What's his readiness?" The scientist checked the screen. Neural control system stable. Flight ability, 92%. Plasma core, online. Weapon modules adapting. He's ready. Hale looked at Myra. "He'll listen to you. Suit up." Meanwhile, orbit above Earth, warships hovered in silence. These weren't for defense. They were carriers built for one thing: dragon deployment. Inside, pilots and engineers worked fast, fitting each dragon's wings with smart armor light, reactive and nearly indestructible. The armor didn't control them. It protected them. As one dragon blinked awake, the chamber shook. Her name was Blazitel, faster than sound, with heat sensors built into her vision. She looked at the pilot below and let out a low growl. "She's not angry," the engineer said, nervously. "She's excited?" Back in Vault 7, Mira stood before Ashwing, her gloved hand placed against the glass. His massive eye focused on her, glowing golden with traces of cybercode moving inside the iris. "You were born to protect," she whispered. "They killed your people, the colony. They burned it down. The child who believed in you is gone." Ashwing's wings shifted slightly. Steam rose from his mouth. Then he moved. The entire chamber trembled as the dragon stretched, unfolded, and rose. The walls groaned under his size. Cameras followed him as his claws touched the metal floor. He bent his neck forward close to Mira. The translator implant activated. "Give me fire. Give me sky. Let them fear Earth again." Mira smiled. Scene change. Earth Defense Command Council. Members watched the footage from New Terra again. The room was quiet. One woman finally spoke. "We warned the galaxy not to provoke us." General Hale responded. "They didn't believe us. Now they will." Across the screens, Dragon launch countdowns began. Pilots strapped in. Massive hatches opened into the cold blue sky. Wind howled through the facility. 3 dragons. 3 targets. First strike. Final scene. The lift office. The sun rose behind the mountain peaks. Ashwing stood at the launch gate. Mira rode on a command platform above him, her hand on the control node. She didn't control him, she guided him. Target lock. Varnic Outpost Delta 3. A voice called over comms. Ashwing crouched. Engines roared. Then he leaped into the sky. Fire blasted behind him. His wings tore through the clouds. And the world watched as the first dragon in centuries returned to the stars. Asterisk. The Varnic outpost on Delta 3 was busy and loud. Tall alien towers rose from the dark soil. Green mist moved between the buildings. Varnic officers walked the platforms, unaware of what was coming. Commander Jules stood on a metal deck, staring at the stars. He laughed with his soldiers. Earthlings send words, not war, he said. They will talk. They always talk. But this time, Earth did not send words. It said Ashwing. In orbit Ashwing flew through space like a black comet. His wings glowed with energy. A targeting system blinked inside his vision, fed by his neural link to Earth Command. He didn't need help to find his target. He could smell the colony. Beside him, 2 Earth stealth drones followed, watching, recording, ready to broadcast the moment across the galaxy. Myra's voice came through the link. Strike hard. Show them what Earth remembers. Ashwing didn't reply. He dove. Delta dash 3 to 7 seconds later, alarm screamed too late. One Varnak officer looked up and froze. What is that? From the clouds, a dragon fell from the sky, covered in steel-black armor, glowing veins of fire. Across his body, Ashwing opened his jaws. A rumble began in his chest, building, growing until fire. Blue fire, hotter than plasma, poured down on the outpost. Metal melted. Defense towers collapsed. Varnak soldiers ran in terror as the first. Human dragon burned their command center into ash. Ashwing didn't stop. He circled low, cutting across the sky like a sword. His claws grabbed fuel tanks and threw them into the air. He set the mist on fire. Buildings exploded in all directions. Commander Jules watched helplessly. We killed a colony, not started a war. But Earth had already decided. This was war. Across the galaxy, news broadcasts explode footage from the stealth drones was sent across every known star system. Billions watched in silence as a massive winged beast tore through a full military base in less than 4 minutes. An alien. Reporter stuttered. Species 562. Humans, they have airborne bioweapons. Ancient, self-aware, and extremely lethal. Another channel screamed, Earth unleashes its monsters. Panic followed. Former enemies of Earth went silent. Neutral worlds locked their borders. Some even sent messages to Earth Command. We regret our past votes. We support you now. Please, call back your dragons. Back on Earth, General Hall watched the footage in silence. Council members were stunned. One man said, This is too much. You've released a fire we may not control. Mira entered the room, calm but sharp. You didn't stop the burning of New Terra. Ashwing did. A young councilwoman asked, How many dragons do we have left? Myra's answer was quiet. Enough. Final scene. Ashwing's return. Ashwing landed on a floating pad in orbit, his armor glowing with heat, smoke rising from his wings. He had no injuries. He looked down at Mira through the observation glass. His eyes said what his voice did not. One is enough if you strike with fire. Asterisk. The galaxy was no longer laughing at Earth. They were whispering about dragons. On the trade world of Zaraloon, thousands gathered in the central square, watching the repeating footage. Ashwing burning Delta 3 to the ground. Alien leaders argued in hushed voices. One ambassador from the Tevek Empire trembled as she said, This isn't just fire. This is fear. Earth has kept monsters asleep for decades, and now they've woken up. Others whispered, We voted to ignore New Terra. Now the humans might burn us too. A message was sent to Earth Council with a single line. We seek peace. Please don't send the next one. On Earth, deep inside Vault 7, Mira walked slowly through the cold halls of the Dragon facility. After Ashwing's return, she couldn't sleep. Her mind wasn't at peace. Each cryopod held a dragon. Each one a memory. A choice made long ago. She stopped at Pod 02. Inside slept a white-scaled dragon named Frostmaw, the most dangerous one. Not because of his power, but because of his rage. Myra had once seen him melt metal at negative temperatures. He didn't breathe fire. He breathed death. General Hale entered beside her. Allies are sending gifts, offers, ships. They want us. To stop, Myra replied. They want us quiet because they're afraid. Not sorry. Halle looked at the pod. We may not need to wake this one. Mira placed her hand on the thick glass. Frostmoss stirred slightly. She whispered. Let's hope we don't. In orbit, Ashwing in flight Againishwing soared above. Earth's blue skies, circling quietly over snow-covered mountains. He had no leash, no chain. Mira connected through his neural link. Are you still angry? His response came through slow, mechanical voice. The fire inside never sleeps. She closed her eyes. We may have to send you again. But not to destroy. Ashwing didn't answer. But his wings flared wide, and the clouds split. Meanwhile, Varnic Command Corps, the Varnic High Leaders had gathered. They looked sick, anxious, silent. One of them, Elder Crew, growled. We thought humans were prey. Now we see their guardians. Our nightmares. Another responded. Should we ask for talks? A young officer slammed his fist. Talks? After Delta 3? We're next. Unless we strike now. Suddenly, the room shook. A screen blinked red. A probe had entered their outer system. It was small. Unarmed. It carried a message from Earth. The voice of Mara. This is not a warning. This is a choice. Stand with us or burn beside them. They froze. Back at Earth Council, other species were now begging for alliances. Old enemies were offering treaties. But Myra wasn't smiling. Are they allies, she asked, or cowards trying to survive? The council debated. General Hawley sighed. If we keep showing dragons, we'll be feared forever. No more trust. No more peace. Mira walked out quietly and whispered to herself. Then maybe fear is what keeps the fire burning. Final scene. A hidden pod late at night. A power surge hit Vault 7. Security bots rushed to Pod 06. Inside was a dragon no one ever spoke of. The pod cracked slightly. Its name was not on any record. And as the lights flickered, the glass pulsed with light. Something inside opened its eyes. Asterisk. The Varnic thought Delta 3 was a lesson, but they were wrong. It was only the beginning. Across the skies of 4 star systems, Earth's dragons took flight, black shadows over red suns, wings that thundered louder than any war engine, fire that melted ships in seconds. The galaxy watched in fear as the sky began to burn. Varnic Prime, main command planet, the capital world was built to show power-tall glass towers, floating cities, and fleets docked in orbit. It had never been touched by war. Until now, the sky above Varnock Prime suddenly darkened. Not from nightfall. But from Ashwing's shadow. He arrived with 2 more. Dragons Bazatail and Iron Claw. Each one wore full battle armor. Each one had only one mission. Break their will. Varnock defense turrets fired rapidly. Their missiles swarmed like bees. But the dragons twisted through them like dancers in the sky. Ashwing roared. His blue flame hit a power grid. Half the city went dark. Ironclaw smashed into a starport, knocking cruisers from the sky with just one strike of his tail. Blazatil dove low, fast as lightning, burning the Varnock government dome into glass in under 7 seconds. Inside the Varnock Council, Bunker Elder Crew screamed. They're not attacking like animals. They're attacking like soldiers. A young officer cried out, What are these things? They're not even machines. Another voice whispered, Earth made monsters, then locked them away. Until now. Outside, glass cracked, buildings collapsed, and the wind carried the smell of burning metal. And fire. So much fire. Across the galaxy, panic spreads on neutral planets. Civilian riots broke out. People demanded answers. Ships fled border systems. Group of alien leaders sent a desperate message to Earth. We offer surrender, help, anything. Just stop the burning. Earth replied with silence. On Earth, Vault 7, Upper Deck Mira, stood beside General Hale in the observation chamber. They watched as hundreds of live drone feeds showed Dragon strikes from orbit. One feed showed Ashwing landing calmly near A, surrendering Varnak outpost. No flame, no roar. Just silence. The Varnak soldiers dropped their weapons and fell to their knees. Mira spoke quietly. They're learning. General Hale nodded. Too late. Behind them, alarms buzzed. Vault 7's deep scanners picked up new signals. One of the older cryopods, Pod 06, was warming up. Without orders. Scene, shift, secret dragon wakes. Pod 06, long thought sealed forever, blinked to life. Steam hissed. From its sides, ice cracked. Inside, a dragon different from the others began to move. He was taller, bulkier. His wings were darker than space, with glowing red veins. His name had been erased long ago. Only one word remained on the pod's interface: Emberfang. He had not flown in over 90 years. And now, he was awake. Back in orbit. Ashwing's final message as Earth's dragons returned to orbit. Ashwing flew higher than all others. He looked down at the burning world below. Then, through his neural link to Myra, he spoke calmly. We have shown them fear. Now, they will remember Earth's fire. Myra replied. It's not over. Ashwing turned his eyes to the stars and let it burn brighter. Final hook scene. Hidden broadcast. A pirate transmission reached across black space. It showed the burning of Varnak Prime. It ended with a message. You struck our colonies. Now the dragons fly. Next time, Earth won't send fire. Earth will come itself. Asterisk deep under the Earth's mountain crust, Pod 06 shattered. Smoke filled the chamber. Sirens blared. Technicians scrambled. Out stepped a dragon bigger than all others. Emberfang. His armor was older, scarred, but pulsing with red light. Unlike Ashwing, Emberfang had no chains, no implants, no command leash. Because Emberfang wasn't. Created by Earth. He was born. A weapon too dangerous to control. A relic from before the war codes. Sealed away by humans who feared what he could become. Now he stood again awake, aware and angry. Vault 7, emergency briefing room. General Hale slammed his fist. Who authorized his release? No one. Myra whispered. He released himself. Ashwing stood on the platform above, watching through reinforced glass. He didn't roar. He didn't growl. He bowed his head. In respect, Emberfang stepped forward and spoke without any neural device. His voice echoed through the walls. I smelled war. I came. In orbit, Council broadcast begins. Earth opened a channel to the galaxy. Mira appeared on screen, calm. Composed, standing between Ashwing and Emberfang. She spoke clearly. This is not a threat. This is a truth. We asked for peace. You burned our colonies. We warned you. You laughed. We sent fire. You ran. The camera slowly panned over the dragons, each one silent, each one staring. There are no more warnings, only choices. Stand with us, or live beneath the sky that burns. Across hundreds of worlds, millions of species watched in silence. No one dared interrupt. Scenes shift. Alien empires react on the planet Sivan. An alien queen erased her invasion plans. On the moon Keros 3, a rebel fleet powered down. Even the Varnak, once proud and merciless, sent one final message. We surrender. We beg forgiveness. Please, call off your fire. Mira didn't smile. She turned to Emberfang. You've done enough. He looked at her, eyes glowing like two dying suns. And bury me again. She shook her head. No, You'll fly only when peace fails again. Ashwing stepped beside Emberfang. The sky behind them turned gold with sunrise. Final scene. The message on stone on the ashes of New Terra, where the first colony had burned. A human child's broken toy still lay. Beside it now stood a giant. Stone marker. It was not built by machines. It was carved by dragon claws. On it were 6 simple words written in every known language. We are not just flame. We are the fire. And beneath it, never forget New Terra.